Trousers, you've seen them before, they're from Lidl. Jacket, UV blocking from Uniqlo. T-shirt from the Roommate Etsy store. This is Lay of the Land, my gardening vlog and general catch-up time. It is the 19th of May 2021. I'm going to show you what's been happening in my garden and what's going to be happening next. Let's get to it. Starting out in the greenhouse, and the biggest change is these straw and hay bales have gone. Where, I will show you later. But for now, all you need to know is my soil in here is getting ready to go. I didn't have any more compost, but I did have some leaf litter as well as leftover bits of straw, and I've been soaking that down. So this soil is almost ready to plant into. In terms of seedlings, I've got loads going on. My aster flowers are coming up. I've got some sunflowers there, although they've had a bit of slug damage. Here, my mum bought some beans from a friend. She didn't need to, because I've got all of these beans. Got some rosemary cuttings down there. I've done a video on them. Up here, all my cucurbites. So I've got Japanese cucumber, black futsu squash, globe courgettes. I've got dill, the lovely herb. Celery down there, they need pricking out. Lettuces, more flowers, dahlias. Something called Bidens or Beedens. I've got basil going on. And finally, some more tomatoes are coming up. This is from a much later sowing. Hopefully these are actually gonna take off, unlike my other ones. Looks like one of my artichokes has come up, which is fantastic. And I've got lupins on the way too. This is my first time growing lupins, so that's really exciting. Outside in the pots, the pansies are continuing their display. These guys just don't give up. For 50p clearance bin pansies, they have done so well. And same with the ones over here. Although last night I came out to shut up the greenhouse and they were covered in slugs. So they're obviously very popular with the mollusk population. Allium flower almost blooming. The last of the big bulbs in this pot. And my little tiny mulberry tree has leaves on it, which is great. This shrub is looking very vigorous. Out here up by the deck, my rose is putting out even more growth, my little Poundland rose. And here I've got some lobelias going on. I bought them as bedding plants, really affordable way to get some flowers into your garden. Down here, you may have seen I did the video comparing overwintered parsleys with one that was grown in the house and one that was grown in the greenhouse, and you can see the house one is not happy. It has not coped with the transition outside well at all, whereas the greenhouse one seems generally okay. Things are filling out here in this border. It's a bit scrappy. We need to work on the edge, so that's one of the jobs for this summer, is edging this border properly. But generally things are taking off. That hebe looks lovely, that punchy pink. And here at my strawberry tower, the strawberries are now competing with opium poppies, I think these are. So that'll be interesting. Strawberry and drugs, what more could you want? Hopefully these guys are going to start putting out flowers soon. There's lots of new vigorous growth coming along. Here on the side I've got some more coming out. It's all taking off. It's made a recovery. Ooh, caught in the wicker. Just untuck that. But yeah, it's recovered well from the frosts and from the dry patch. What else has recovered well? My plum tree. It's got leaves. It's really taking off. So I'm really excited to see how this grows and shapes over the coming year. No idea what this is. Maybe a castor oil plant? I think they have quite similar leaves, but I'm not entirely sure. But that looks like it's about to bloom. And further down the path we've got our lovely black elder, and I can just see the start of flower heads forming on that. This one gives off such a beautiful scent when it's in bloom, and it just looks magical with the sort of pale pinky white flowers against the black foliage. It's a fantastic shrub or tree to have in your garden. I really recommend the black elder. The camellia is still going bonkers. It's been putting out flowers like there's no tomorrow. I'm having to sweep the path every day. I haven't done it yet today, as you can see. but that's something we have to keep on top of. But yeah, wonderful display on the camellia. My poor little azaleas hidden away back here now. I need to cut back some of these. I don't know what this is, but the azalea's in the ground now. Hopefully it's going to perk up a little bit. Over here in the raised beds, I've been neglecting things a little bit. So this was Mizuna. It's all gone to seed now, but no worry, you can eat these flowers. They're very tasty and they look beautiful on salads. Speaking of which, we've got lettuce in an abundance, although as you can see, the slug populations have been having a good old nibble. What can you do? It's their garden too. I need to peel off this mesh and do some weeding around the garlic for sure. And again, gone to seed, my rocket. We haven't really been eating it, to be fair. I've not been making the effort to come out and pick it, but I should be. We've got a salad spinner now, there's no excuse. Parsnips continue to grow. I'm really excited about these because I've never done them successfully before. Again, I need to get on my weeding. Sadly, the slugs have reared their heads here on the hay bales as well. This was a cauliflower, it's now cauliflower lace. This is one of my slug traps, a beer slug trap. I mean, look at the quantity of slugs in there. There's so many. And I think maybe just hay bale gardening isn't a good choice in a place where you've got a lot of slugs, because it holds on to so much moisture. I'm actually going to come in here with a garden fork and break these down a little bit because they just need to sort of drop out. Ew, I think that's a fox poo or some other animal poo. Gross. One big change. Our neighbour had a cherry tree and a big weeping willow cut down, and we asked if we could have all of the wood from it. So I've got a huge pile of willow here. This is all willow whips. I can do some weaving with this hopefully. If you've got any ideas for projects for me, let me know, because it's a bit overwhelming, to be honest. Today the girls are out on free ranging. Hello ladies. Hello. Do you like your birthday cake, girls? Do you like your birthday cake? One thing I know I am going to do though with these cherry logs is inoculate them with shiitake mushroom spawn plugs, and then I can be growing my own mushrooms at home. So that's definitely a plan on the cards. I'm thinking actually where that willow pile is to make a mushroom cultivation area. So put down some weed suppressant membrane and some wood chip, and then build up inoculated logs from there and just grow my own mushrooms. So that's exciting. Lots and lots of the cherry wood as well. Hopefully I'm going to be able to think of some building projects for this, but even if I don't, it's just great to have that extra biomass in your garden, bringing things in. You know, it's sad that the tree got cut down, although the cherry tree was a little bit diseased in places, but by keeping that wood whole and putting it in the garden, you know, you're turning that carbon from the wood into carbon into soil as it slowly rots down, rather than it going into carbon dioxide from burning. Little magical space. I've bought some accessories for this area, so this is going to get a makeover soon, hopefully. And one big change. Da 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 da. Hay barn. My dad built me storage for straw, hay. Those are fence poles for my temporary fence, cardboard for mulching. So that's great. All of that is out of the greenhouse now. I have full use of the greenhouse. And this is down here for chicken bedding. I'm ready to go. There's my temporary fence up, protecting that space from the girls when they're free ranging. And I've been doing some clearing here. I'm hoping to make sort of cottage garden flower beds here and down here as well. So I've just been scraping back the geranium. Oh my gosh, the wind is picking up. We've had showers on and off all week. It's been crazy. Let's have a look in our vegetable plot. The gooseberries are really coming on. I mean, they've with all the rain we've been having recently, they've really come into full leaf. There's another opium poppy down there. My tulips are mainly done now. They did such a fantastic display. I'm really pleased with how it worked out. And something really exciting there on the apple blossom. So my apple has rooted enough that it's started flowering. So I think we have to pick off the fruit in the first year because it will be too overwhelming for it. But I don't know, maybe I'll leave one or two. Also going on in this area, I've been doing a comparison between two types of sweet corn, between sprouting and then planting the sprouted bit of sweet corn, and sowing in a pot and then planting out the pot sown sweet corn. So I've got a plot here for sprouted and then sown in the ground, and plot there for grown in pots. The raspberries, some of them have finally come into leaf. Unfortunately, I think a couple of them just didn't make it. It was too dry. I didn't water them enough. When I first planted them, we had that really bad drought in April. But the apple tree there, that's the second apple tree. That one's got leaves on it now. Down here, the autumn fruiting raspberries. They're starting to produce foliage from the bottom, or at least 4 of them are. The one at the end maybe has gone. And then down here there's nothing to show yet, but I sowed 3 rows of carrots and beetroot here, so this is going to be a root veg plot. Additionally, you can see a couple of little marigolds out and about. I bought these as bedding plants because the ones I sowed didn't take off, and they're going to be companion plants in this area. My currants are also starting to leaf up, which is good. And down here, I gave this patch quite a good weed the other day. The onions are coming along nicely. They're the ones that look like grass. So here, I've still got some lettuces going on. I think the asparagus was completely destroyed by the squirrels digging it up and then the drought. So sadly, that's not coming back, I don't think, but I might buy some more crowns in winter. But I've risked one of my courgettes, well, 2 of my courgettes. I've got one here and one at the back of there, and I've got some brassicas as well in this area. And again, my apple trees have come into leaf, so that's really exciting. It's the start of the food forest. Down here, the chicken pasture, what will be chicken pasture once it's become established, is taking off. I managed to get a bunch of turf for free because someone down the road was having their front garden done and I asked if I could have it. So I went down with my wheelbarrow and just picked up rolls of turf, and then I've also been sowing grass seed too. So hopefully it's going to be pretty solid chicken pasture. The chicken update is that the chickens are generally really good. Nanami has a bit of a head injury. I think she hit her head on something in the run and then the girls kind of piled on her a bit. Unfortunately, that's quite common in chickens. When they see a injury on one of them, they will go for it and peck at it. So I had to spray her with antiseptic spray. So she is bald and purple at the moment. My poor baby. But they've been really great. They're giving us 3 to 4 eggs a day still, so that's fantastic. And I know, how am I feeling? I feel a little bit like I'm behind with the garden. It can be hard to find the motivation to come out here sometimes because, you know, it's a bit like end of the world and I'm still struggling with my mental health a bit, which isn't great. But when I do make the effort and I come out here, I feel much better. And although things do go wrong, I think gardening teaches you resilience in that sense, because you see things out of your control, the slugs, the squirrels, the drought, seeds just not germinating, plants not growing on right, and it kind of teaches you to, well, it's sort of, one, it puts things in perspective, you know, plants go wrong, it's not the end of the world. And it just, yeah, it's just a small knockback and you can learn to be resilient from it. So I'm going to keep on with my garden. I'm really pleased with what I've achieved so far. When I look back at old footage of this space before I came back home, or when I'd first come back home, it was just a wasteland. It was just a wasteland. And I'm hoping with my efforts with the flowers and everything that I'm putting in, we're going to see more pollinators. We're going to see the garden just come to life a bit more. So yeah, hang in there with me. Stay tuned, and I promise I will keep updating. And I hope you enjoyed seeing my garden this time. Ciao!